Welcome back to Blue and Blur, everybody. My name is Mark.
I'm RJ, and on this video, we're going to cover the three biggest stories of 2025 for each of our clubs.
Yeah, three things that we feel are the biggest stories, and I think there's no surprise
Well,
to
they're
anybody.
kind of encapsulations anyway of the whole
of how the year went. So 2025, in my opinion, is a turnaround year right now for Montreal in their rebuild. I mean, the big story for 2025 we're going to start with was Montreal making the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. They made it, but they made it, and everybody ruled them out. Didn't think they were going to do it. They did,
it really started the renaissance of they were not looking good.
Oh yeah, at Christmas time,
and then they brought Hudson up.
Yeah, at Christmas time they really thought. Yeah, they really at Christmas time they really thought that the Montreal.
He changed that whole team.
Anyway.
I'm jealous.
Hudson came in, they brought him up, and then of course he changed the game. He changed how Montreal was being.
He
played
made Suzuki
right now.
and Caulfield better players.
Absolutely, and the way his style of play hasn't been matched so far. From what I've seen, the way he moves, the way that guy could turn with the puck on his stick. I mean, it's like he's standing on a swivel.
I don't know why the Americans don't have him on their defense
Exactly.
Olympics. But
well, they didn't have him on the Four Nations Cup last year, and I don't think they're going to have him on the Olympics this year.
He was pretty new. Don't get carried away. He was pretty fresh.
Well, you know what?
They didn't have a lot of tape on him.
They didn't. But the guy won the Calder, so in hindsight,
but they still don't have him on the team now. So I guess they go with veterans over.
So
he'll be there. He'll be there in 26, I bet.
Yeah. So going along with that story is Hudson winning the Calder, which,
28 or whatever the next 30. I can't remember when is the next Winter Olympics.
That's every 4 years, right?
So
winter.
We'll be in 30.
Yeah, nice. 20.
Sorry.
Yeah, so this to go along with that, Hudson won the Calder last year, and first Canadiens player to win it since Dryden. So since back in 1971, 70 was his rookie year.
72 he won the Calder.
72, yes, right, because he was.
And no, Theodore didn't win he won the Hart.
Yeah, exactly. So there's two big stories.
Well, Patrick Waugh? Did Patrick Waugh win the Calder?
No, Patrick Waugh never won the Calder. No, last Montreal Canadiens player to win it was Dryden.
Oh, really? Waugh didn't win the Calder.
It had been that long, absolutely. So so that's my first big story is the big comeback from Montreal to get into.
They played really well against Washington.
They played well against Washington. They didn't make it through.
I thought they should have won that series.
The big thing is, I wasn't expecting to get through there.
I watched every game of that series because I found it so fascinating. Montreal was so spirited and fun to watch, and I thought the refereeing. I mean, they should have won that series in 6. Some of the refereeing was terrible.
Yeah, I remember that part of it. Yeah. But like I said, for me, it was like I was just happy we made it.
No, they had the big fight on the benches. Josh Anderson jumped over. I'm doing them.
But I didn't think anybody expected.
Can I have that sweater?
I don't think anybody expected Montreal to get past the first round. Nobody expected Montreal to get into the first round. But that'll get into my third.
Well, I mean, can I do it? Let me. I know I talked over you there a little bit, but I don't know why I'm getting excited about the Montreal Canadiens.
They're an exciting team. How could you not? Yeah.
Our first, 2025 was arguably a good year for the Leafs. They finally got it done. They finished first in the division, got home ice, and played pretty well. They had great goaltending and great free agent signing. Chris Tanev ended up being just wonderful on defense. Craig Bruba's first year as coach. Anyway, they ended up with 108 points, finished first overall, took out Ottawa in the first round, and then played Florida. And ultimately took them to 7 games, and Edmonton went on to win the Stanley Cup and defeated Carolina in 5, and then went on to play Florida in 6. And similar, the games Florida was winning, they were winning by 3 or 4 goals. I think they beat Florida by 5-1 in the clinching game. And so, to argue that the Leafs actually took them to 7, but the Leafs lost games 5 and game 7, 6-1. And I mean, I saw the Edmonton game. Edmonton was trying hard in that last game. The Leafs just collapsed, and it's in their home. It was at home, and they just anyway. It was it was a sour ending to the year. The way they and quite frankly, they started after Ottawa. They started out really big. They won the first 2 games of that series, had Florida down 0-2. And then went into Florida for Game 3 and had a 2-0 and then a 3-1 lead ultimately let Florida come back and score a goal, tie it, and win in overtime.
What do you think of all those stories that people say? Oh, if Toronto would have beat Florida, since Florida went to the finals, Toronto would have gone.
I
to
think.
the finals.
Well, I think maybe McDavid. Would have
That's all I heard.
I think McDavid would have his first cup if that had happened. I think the Leafs. I think the Carolina's a heavy team. And the Leafs, I think maybe
Florida.
No,
Carolina.
Well,
yeah.
Can I finish the sentence?
Yeah, go ahead.
Carolina would have been the Leafs' next opponent, and I think Carolina would have given the Leafs a very hard time. And so maybe the Leafs wouldn't have. Maybe the Leafs then would have got their Waterloo with the Carolina team.
Yeah.
But had they gone on and beat Carolina, which full value they could have. Playing and Toronto and Edmonton, boy, that Matthews McDavid talk. Oh, the two best players in the world. And Nathan McKinnon's sitting there. What? And I don't know if the Leafs would have beat Edmonton. Now, one of the biggest problems for the Leafs, don't forget, one of the things that the Leafs drove off a cliff. Stolarz got hurt in game 2. At least Wall came in and ended the game, but the whole thing changed. Stolarz was really on a roll, really hot, seeing the puck everywhere. So they wouldn't have had to. And not that Wall played bad in the next 5 games. And I'm not saying that injury means the Leafs would have won that series. But when they were up 2-0 and 3-1 in game 3, and Stolarz is in net, and on his hot streak, the Leafs probably could have prevailed and gone up 3-0, and then. I'm not going to be one of those guys who says, "Oh, the Leafs would have won the cup." I'm going to save that for a rant I'm going to do on the Leafs would have won the cup in 1993 again instead of these guys. We're going to do a video on that one day, and I'm going to explain exactly why the Montreal Canadiens would not have won that cup in 1993. But anyway, that's the big story for the first half of 2025.
Right,
the Leafs. Running out of gas against Florida and looking like the team they are this year, really. Anyway, what's your next story?
Yeah, next story, like for me, I don't think it's as big as Hudson winning the Calder, obviously, but Dobson getting traded to Montreal for 2 first-round picks. He's a really good player. Is he the best player in the league? Obviously not. Are we putting expectations on this guy like he's going to save the Montreal defense? He's not. He made mistakes. I mentioned one just past few videos.
He's got a great point shot for the power play, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a good piece of the puzzle that Montreal needs in the back end to further and finalize this rebuild that we're working on right now.
Locked him in on a good 8-year contract.
Yeah,
too.
Actually, it's it was $8.5 million.
8 years too.
Yeah, so
that was good.
Yeah, he's doing really good. 9.5. I think he's making more in Suzuki, if I remember correctly. Right? He's the highest.
9 even, maybe 9-1.
I think he's less than Laine, but more than Suzuki. Anyway, something like that.
Laine's for earning his money.
Oh my God, yeah. No, we're not going to get into that one right now. But so Dobson trade was a big one. Personally, before he came to Montreal, I don't follow other NHL teams very much, especially American teams. So I've never really heard a lot about Dobson. I'd heard the name, but I mean, it's not a name like people who follow other teams, they're like, hey,
that's why I
we're getting Dobson.
for this channel. That's why I don't get any sleep. I have to follow 30 other teams along with mine. I have to do all that.
I like to focus.
I have to do all the work on the Utah Mammoth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Because this guy's not going to do it.
Yeah, no, I don't follow a lot of other teams. Like, I'll follow him a little bit, but I don't get into depth.
He's a homer.
Yeah,
is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, this is like I said. We don't do this for a living, so we don't get paid to research. Hours and hours at home before we do these videos here. Yeah, so that's my second story, the Dobson trade.
Well, we all know what my second story is going to be because we're covering Dobson being signed at July 1st. Guess what happened on July 1st in Toronto?
Yeah, you lost.
Mitch Marner became a free agent, and of course we all know what happened. They did a sign and trade just before July 1st, and Marner went to Vegas. And the Leafs got Nick Roy back because it was just to give us a player back. And Nick Roy's a pretty useful third line center. I think by the end of the year we'll see that. But of course, Marner turns down a trade at the deadline to Carolina for Rantanen. And boy, things would be a lot different for the Leafs if they had got Rantanen instead of Nick Roy. I'm not putting down Nick Roy, but because it's a situational thing, you don't compare the two. Sorry about that. Again, semi-pros here.
Yeah.
He says we're not pros at all. I refuse to. At least we're semi-pros.
We're trying.
Well,
yeah.
But anyway, but I don't blame Marner. I'm hard on Marner. I'm going to be hard on him in the next 2 minutes, but I'm not going to be hard on him for turning down that trade. I mean, his wife was 7 months pregnant, and you know what? He was given a no trade contract. The Leafs gave him a no trade contract. He earned a no trade contract, and so he had the right to refuse that trade. And but that probably going to Marner and saying, "Hey, look, do you want to go to Carolina? Do you want to waive your no trade?" I think it was pretty much done then. Now, there's been reports that came out that all year long, like Ryan Reeves played for Vegas for several years, and that Marner was talking to Reevesy about great. What are the great restaurants? Where would I get coffee on the way to practice? So all year long, apparently some of the players, some of the teammates on the Leafs, there's been some reporting that they weren't too happy with the Vegas talk all year long by Marner. Anyway, he's gone, and we'll do a deep dive maybe on Marner. We'll do a video on him, but I just want to say, I mean, he looks at the situation in Toronto right now, and I'm sure that phrase that comes to his head is getting out of Dodge.
But right now, both Vegas and Carolina are doing pretty well in their division. So do you think he would have been better off in Carolina if he had taken that? Or
well, he would have had a good job. I mean, Carolina's a good hockey team and really good support staff there. And he's doing okay. I mean, he's not ripping it up in Vegas. He's not gelling with Eichel, or perhaps not getting as much as they got Mark Stone on the right side too. Don't forget.
But is it going to be one of those stories like if he makes it to Carolina, if he makes it to Vegas or Carolina, and they win the cup, and one of those
well, I can't wait. That's stories. Now
we're
going. We're getting off topic, but that's going to be the story of this year. Well, I want to watch how Marner plays in the playoffs for Vegas and see what they think of that. That he's not the same player in the playoffs. We'll see. We also we get to evaluate himself under pressure in the Olympics coming up too.
Yeah, Vegas right now is second in the Pacific right now. I don't think there's any doubt that they're not going to make the playoffs.
I just think that when he gets his NHL app and he sees the Leafs lost 4-0 to Washington, and then they lost 5-3, 5-1 to Dallas, and they're going to fire the coach. Marner's going, boy, am I ever glad I'm not there.
Well, yeah, because either way, it's a win for him, right? Because I mean, there's I don't think there's any doubt Vegas is making the playoffs, but there's doubt that Toronto's making the playoffs.
His dad Paul was always bitching about the front office and whatnot. I'm pretty sure his dad is wearing a Las Vegas hockey sweater when he picks up his Tim Hortons or
exactly.
goes to his local bar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rub it in our faces. Anyway, he's gone. We're going to do a dive on that. I'll do a Marner video, but so we'll move on from there. But that was the big story, of course, losing a player of that ilk and letting him go. And there's a lot of management malpractice as far as I'm concerned. Leafs should have traded him before the no trade kicked in,
and maybe not the last. There's a lot of rumors right now online about Matthews.
Well, he's a diminished asset right now, so there's a lot of. We're gonna do a dive on that. So what happened? What would be your? I want to get off the topic. I could go on about Marner for 10 more minutes if you want.
Yeah, I know you could get on about Matthews and Marner.
Everyone's gonna keep going back to the cat videos.
Yeah.
So what is?
So the third story.
What's the third story?
My third story for Montreal, of course, is the turnaround that Montreal's doing right now this season. Montreal is right from day one of this the first game of the year. Montreal's being written off as like, they're good, but they're not going to make the playoffs again this year. They're going to have a similar season as last year. Everybody was just crapping all over Montreal, and then look at that. They came in right away and started, really playing well, really gelling together, really coming together as a team. And additions with guys like Fowler and Demidov and Kapanen's, he's also in the race still for the Calder right now, and I think Demidov is points leader. I think he's points leader by about 2 or 3 points right now.
He's got a shot at the Calder.
For the Calder. So, I mean, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be a good story at the end of the year? We back-to-back Calders for Montreal. That'd be amazing. So, I think the big turnaround that Montreal's doing this year is the story of the year for Montreal. All the analysts on TV are all talking about it anyway. They're talking about how Montreal is no longer just wanting to be in the mix. They're definitely in the mix right now, and they're eyeballing a playoff position. And I think depending on who they play in the first round, I think they got a good chance of getting in the second round if they keep playing. I think they're still missing 1 or 2 pieces, especially in the
deadline
back end.
coming. They have a salary cap space, and they have
they got a lot of space.
And they have a deep prospect pool.
Yeah.
I could see Montreal being a splashy team at the deadline.
Well, I could see them being definitely a buyer at the deadline.
Well, they're definitely going to be a buyer, but I mean, maybe
sure.
they might, get the right piece or two.
Yeah.
They've I don't know. They could go a long way. It could be a very happy. 50% of this channel might be very happy in May.
Yeah, or 50%.
I'm already guaranteeing that 50% won't be happy.
Yeah,
but,
one of us might be wearing the other one's jersey again or something like that.
There's that too.
We'll have to see about that. So anyway, so that's my third story is how good Montreal's doing this year. It's a feel-good story for me.
I like the Fowler-Pittsburgh thing. His first start with Pittsburgh, same as Dryden and Waugh. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, how they win the first game against Pittsburgh.
I like that bit of hockey trivia.
Yeah. For me, this team this year is like I think I've said it before, but it makes me excited to watch hockey again. Like, so I think for about the past decade, maybe 15 years, watching the Habs hasn't been exciting. I haven't felt as much of excitement. I started getting that excitement again when Caulfield got in. Yeah. When Caulfield got drafted and brought up to the team, I started seeing a player on the ice. I started getting excited. That's why I got the 22 jersey. I was like, wow, this kid's amazing. And my brother-in-law will attest to me. Like, every time we watch a game together, we'll video chat each other while watching the game. And every time Caulfield scores, the first words come out of my mouth is, "I love that kid." Oh, I love that kid. Every time he scores, and I just love his reaction when that guy scores. It's like he won the lottery.
He's so happy. He reminds me a little bit of Theo Fleury. The smallest player, the way Fleury was at the beginning with Calgary was always he would do those slides back out to center ice and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does remind me of Fleury in stature and in attitude.
Yeah, so that's my third story. What's your third story?
Well, we probably should have. I should have gone first on third story, and then we could end this
on a positive note.
On a positive note. Yeah, the Leafs have this season. We've already talked about it over and over and over. So we'll keep it short, can I keep it short? Leafs, just a terrible start, and it's just gone on and on and on. Goaltending, injuries. And even questioning now maybe Berube should be fired. They're questioning all his moves and the way he moves the chess pieces. And some would say that he's not playing chess; he's playing checkers. I don't know. It's pretty grim. We're in 13th place right now. We spent most of the time in 15th. I think would be our average. Mm-hmm. And power play's terrible. Scoring a lot of goals, but the defense are giving up a lot. Scoring chances. The analytics for the Leafs are terrible, but won't be boring you with all those stats. Goaltending has been subpar, which is a big part of it. You show me a team with a goalie with a 940. I'll show you a great coach and a very happy 18.
Just Toronto right now is in 14th. They're 1 point ahead of Ottawa.
Well, I thought they moved up to 13th. And how many points back are they? In our last video, we were
from the wild card.
2 points or 4?
They're at 42 points right now, and the wild card is
44.
Let me see. I got to go to the wild card thing. 46.
So it is 4.
They're only 2 games back.
I thought it was. I was hoping for 2, but yeah, I mean they won 7 out of their possible 8 points in the last 4 games. So things are looking up right now. Anyway, the other big story, which is part and parcel with the whole thing, is the Matthews situation. He signed him for $13 million, and he's really playing like a $7 or $8 million player. I saw a thing the other day. One of these hockey writers, a Toronto Leaf blogger guy. Got way more followers than us, so we're going to try to rectify that. Yeah. He writes that.
Please like and subscribe.
He goes, people are cutting out Matthews. Not right. You work it out right now. He's still going to have a 40-goal season. But I'm going to repeat this when I do a Matthews dive. Maybe it's a quiet 40 goals. Number one. Number two. He's not paid to score 40 goals. He's paid to score 50, 55, 60. Yeah. $13 million. He's going to, don't forget, he's going to finish with about 60 points. He doesn't get a lot of assists. We're going to cover that again. And so you got a problem when you got a player playing at a $78 million. Before we had Tavares playing as an $11 million player, signed as an $11 million player, and he was probably doing production of an $8 million player. But this is really bad when you got $13 million tied up in a cap of a player playing at a $7 million rate. Yeah, $6 million. It's like that's Zach Hyman right there, folks.
Yeah, the expectations are a lot higher than the expectations on his salary are a lot higher. Than
it just doesn't look well. He, to be fair to him, he can't help if he got hurt. If he's physically, and this is the thing we're going to find out with the Olympics coming up because. All his, now to get to some Olympics, his speed burst rate is way down, his shot power is way down, And if you see these kind of deep look analytics all perk up in the Olympics, then okay, he's not as hurt as he's saying he is. He's just not trying as hard. I don't know.
You think mental health could be a factor in here? You think if it's not physical?
Well, if he listens to me talk, he would be depressed. I would be depressed if someone talked so disparagingly of me. I don't know. I think he's hurt.
Not only am I getting it from Steve Dangle, I'm getting it from RJ.
Yeah, no, I think he's hurt. I think he's got a nagging injury. Probably a bad. To me, if it's both his skating and his shot power is down, either that means it's two injuries: it's wrist and a leg. I think it's bad back because the back would affect the shot power slightly, which is slightly affected, and of course, a bad back would affect the skating. So my prediction is some kind of back issue, and I can't think of another player deteriorating like this at 20. One of the top echelon players throughout the eras that I've been watching hockey at 27, 28 is when you're supposed to be at your prime, and he's falling apart. You look at, you go down the line of all the great centermen of all time. When they were like 27, 28, they were going for the Art Ross Trophy and the Hart Trophy, and Matthews is going quite the opposite way, and he's starting to play like a second line center, and this is quite serious. This is quite alarming. This deterioration. I would rest him. I think the Leafs should be parking him. And maybe telling him, we pay you $13 million. Maybe you can't play in the Olympics. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should take a month off and not go over to Italy. I'm sure that'll go. I'm sure maybe Donald Trump might get upset. He really will start. Well, we got to make it the 51st state. Then we need that guy. Absolutely. We'll put a tariff on. We'll say, well, you can have Matthews, but there's a tariff.
There's a tariff.
There's a tariff.
There's tariffs on there.
We don't want to be political. I'm trying to be very mildly funny.
Yeah.
Don't save your.
No, exactly.
I did.
We're gonna say it again. We're not pros. We just do this for fun. We got brand new microphones. What do you think of the microphones so far?
Well, I'm liking the look. I like the blue and the red.
Well, yeah, that's why I got them, because you could actually change colors.
A bit of an interior designer. Yeah, this guy.
Blue and red. So if you ever have to wear my jersey again, I'll just change that to blue or red. Change that to red.
Course, yeah. Or just make it two red ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that was our review. What do you think? I maybe we'll both be happy by the end of the year. Maybe we'll. I think you're going to stay happy. Hopefully, I get a little happier.
I think a lot of things would have to go wrong right now for Montreal to kind of regress from what they're doing so far.
Yeah.
And then a lot of things have to go right for Toronto right now.
Well, they are right now. So
they're on a little bit of a
streak. We got guys like Jacob Quinlan and Matt Bennett coming up to play for us from the Marlies. And we got some other Marlies down there. Maybe they should just call up.
They've had a good holiday season, Toronto, I would say.
Santa was good to the Leafs.
Yeah, so far.
Not to Mark Savard.
Yeah.
Well, Cole and his stocking.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anyways, we're a growing YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. The likes help us. Subscriptions help us. I'd like to give a shout out to the Hockey Junkie. If you're watching, I love your stuff. I love watching your videos. Don't stop making them. They're amazing. Very informative. Very funny. This guy, he's a Newfoundlander, and he makes these videos. You never see his face. You never see this guy's face. It's a video. But I was in the military, and I knew a lot of Newfies, and just the accent to me is feels good to me.
Which is I don't know. Is he Montreal bound?
Oh no, he's all Montreal. Yeah,
just Montreal. Just like you, he doesn't watch a Utah game.
No, I don't.
Unless they're playing.
He's a Montreal guy. I love this guy. He's funny. He's hilarious, and I love the accent. And I never met a Newfie I didn't like to drink with. So if you're ever in the GTA, give me a call. We'll have a beer. We'll have a pint. We'll kiss a cod.
I only watch this channel.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video.